Well, now I want to talk to a friend of mine. You probably know him as TV's Andy Levy. I just know him as my NASCAR buddy because we go and watch races together and all other kinds of sordid things. Andy Levy, are you with us on Skype?
Well, I'm not with you on Skype. I'm with you on phone.
Oh, see, this is what I was saying, Roger. I don't understand technology at all. So you're with us on the phone.
You're a real tech geek, aren't you?
I know. I'm a loser, Andy, but this is not news to you. You
No,
know this.
Or anybody that knows you.
Okay. Well, you know Andy from Red Eye with Greg Gutfeld on Fox News. Andy, I don't know if everyone knows this about you, and I'm not giving away any secrets, but you served in the Army.
Yeah, that actually was a secret.
Did I just totally blow your cover?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. 1990 to 1993, U.S. Army.
And I believe you were on something mysterious called the DMZ.
I was. My first permanent duty station ended up being a 90-day rotation on the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, which I highly recommend as a vacation spot.
Oh, right.
I mean, I don't know that when people watch you, and they do, I mean, you have so many fans, it's obnoxious when we go out together. But I don't know if people would know to look at you, but like, you're like an Army guy. You served, you know, at least at one point in your career, used to be fit.
Yeah, that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
That was a low blow, Essie. I mean, that was a low blow.
This is how close we are, Roger.
I see.
This
You
is,
can say
I
those
mean,
things.
Believe me, it's a matter of time before he also throws me under the bus completely.
Yeah, Roger, you can't say things like that.
No, I wouldn't even think of it, honestly.
But I can. No, Andy, on a serious note, I mean, I don't know if you know what's in this care package, but our viewers do. We've got everything from Oreo cookies to beef jerky, jelly beans, coffee, Gatorade. How much does getting a care package like this mean? I mean, I'm sure no one cared that you were overseas, so you didn't probably get a lot of these, but put yourself in someone else's shoes who did get care packages.
First of all, my mommy cared.
Oh, Mrs. Levy, I bet she did care.
Yes. But no, honestly, we actually did used to get care packages, like schools and places like that would have their students put together care packages and send them to us. Remember, this was 1991, 92. This was, right during and then right after Desert Storm. So there was a lot of goodwill for soldiers going on in the country at the time. And it meant a lot. You would, especially, when you're overseas, when you're in a place like Korea, which is very, very far from home and a lot different culture-wise than America.
Yeah.
It really meant a lot. When you would get a package, whether it was from someone you knew or whether it was from a stranger, in a certain way, it was almost more touching to get it from strangers, and they would just put little notes in there thanking you for your service. And, and you'd open it up, and there would be, you'd get candy bars and just really good stuff that reminded you of home and gave you like a little piece of home, even though you were patrolling a little hellhole.
Right. Well, exactly. And you brought up a good point. There was a lot of goodwill during the Gulf War. Do you think, and I know you're on TV now, so you're not in the field, but you have a sense of this and you cover this kind of stuff. Do you think that there's less goodwill this go around? Are we looking at our troops differently? Is the media covering this differently?
I don't think so for the most part. I think Desert Storm did a lot to sort of change the culture in this country, that sort of the Vietnam era culture that lasted a lot longer than Vietnam did, where troops were looked upon as something, sort of soldiers and dogs stay off the lawn kind of thing. And I think thankfully, I think that period is long gone. Look, there's the occasional story now that, somebody does, an American soldier or sailor or Marine or airman does something bad and something they shouldn't do. But I think at this point, the American people they're sophisticated enough to know that that's not the norm.
Right.
And I do think, it's a lot different than the 60s and the 70s where you would see something on the news or you would hear a story about something that, might not paint the troops in a favorable light, and then people would maybe think, oh, they're all like that. Right. I think everybody knows now that when things like that happen, they're the exception, and they're as far from the rule as it could possibly be.
I think you're right, and I think there's so much patriotism in this country, and thanks in large part to groups like a Move America Forward, who really work to say, okay, regardless of how these troops come home, regardless of what the media is going to say about these wars that we're fighting, we're going to make sure that they come home to a nice reception, whether that's greeting them at the airport or sending them a care package or saying, job well done, thank you very much. I think we're all pretty much committed and on that side.
Absolutely. Like, look, I think there's a small subset, on probably the very far left.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel that way and that thinks our troops are murderers and whatever. But it's such a small subset right now, and I think those people are actually looked upon with such distaste by the vast majority of Americans that it's not that you don't have to, think about them because it's still obnoxious, but that there's such a fringe thing now that it's great to see.
Well, I agree, and I just want to thank you. I mean, you especially. For those people who don't know Andy personally, he's a terrible person. So it's actually completely out of character that he would be so generous in donating his time today. And I just want to thank you, buddy. I really appreciate everything that you once did a long time ago and the stuff that you continue to do on Red Eye today.
Yeah, had I known that you were going to be hosting, I absolutely wouldn't have done this. I feel like I was I was misled.
Yeah, I know, on purpose.
Oh, no, absolutely.
On purpose.
I'm regretting it even as I'm talking to you. I couldn't be regretting this more.
Andy, had I known that you were going to be doing this, I would not have said yes.
No, I know, but the thing is that the troops are so important that even the horror of having to put up with talking to you for 15 minutes is worth it.
I know, it's all worth it. I agree. I completely agree. Thanks, buddy. I want to take it to
I better
Roger
step in
now.
here, I think.